Hello everybody, here we are today talking about NHL jersey news, and of course we will be talking about the fact that Fanatics will be taking over as the main jersey for the NHL. Now before we start, I wanted to say please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. I'd love to have you here along the way as we try to do this as a career. Now, let's get into it. So it looks like, from what we can see here on ESPN, that starting for the 2024-2025 season, Fanatics will be the sole creator of NHL jerseys. What exactly does that mean? It means that next season will be the last season that Adidas will be the creator for the jerseys. This is something that I actually thought was going to start next year, but this is an ESPN article saying that it's next year. And so that means that, of course, we'll get one more year with Adidas, and then Fanatics will be taking over. And I know a lot of people are kind of wondering, what's my take on this? I was at first a little bit more curious and concerned, but I think after reading this article, I feel a little bit better. So essentially, what's going to happen here, especially in the early time that Fanatics takes over, they are going to be doing most of what Adidas already did. They're actually taking over the same factory in Quebec that made a lot of these jerseys for the players, all that stuff, blah, 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 and the fans. They're going to be taking over that same factory, and then I imagine the same workers would be there, and they're going to try to keep things pretty similar design-wise, fabric-wise, all that stuff. So they have that. Also, a good thing is, if you really are worried about some drastic changes, it doesn't seem like they're going to be worried about that until 2026, the 2026-27 season, where they might play around with some of the fabric, maybe seeing if they could get some reflection, some lighter colors and things there. So again, for now, it seems like things will pretty much stay the same. What does this mean, though, outside of that? It means that Fanatics will have kind of a weird beginning in the sports world. They will be making and branding these jerseys with Fanatics is a big corporation in a big league that is the NHL. Having said that, though, they actually make, I think, every single MLB jersey, or at least a huge amount of them, since 2017. Yes, it is under Nike, but Fanatics makes them, so this has got me feeling a little bit better about things there, where they have, really taken off and been this company that's really got a surge going to where you're known now. If you want to get some gear, maybe you could go on to Fanatics. It seems like their marketing is everywhere, but being able to see the fact that they are making MLB uniforms, or at least MLB jerseys, does give me a little bit to be hopeful about. On the flip side, what are my true and honest opinions here? Personally, I am a little bit worried. We look at a lot of these name brands, Reebok, Adidas, Nike, all these corporations, and they're the companies that typically do jerseys. They, of course, won't be in the mix here. It'll be Fanatics, the corporation, entirely. And I think, from what I've heard, I am worried about the quality of the jerseys. You look at these jerseys, they're not cheap. Fanatics jerseys with a player's name on there for an adult size is like $175 before tax and shipping. So I am a little concerned that if they take over, which they will be doing so, I think until 2035, that we really could see possibly bad jerseys to where people don't want to buy a lot of jerseys. And I'm also worried, what their designs will look like, because Fanatics, I think, for the pros, it is a great website to get a lot of different merch for a lot of different teams, fairly cheap in a quick, timely fashion, and they do a lot of great coupons. In fact, you've probably seen this hat in a bunch of other videos if you are somebody that watches my videos regularly. This is a Fanatics hat. I bought it 3 years ago. I have 2 t-shirts that I bought from Fanatics 3 years ago as well, because they had this crazy good sale going at the time, and I thought that, they've held up pretty well. But I also look at a lot of this stuff, and I will admit, I think that it's a cheaper type of, product, and it's also something where the design loses a little bit of creativity. I think Fanatics is a company that focuses really on creating quite a bit of product and getting it out there in an efficient and timely manner, but I do worry that if it stretches over to where they like some of that creativity for the jerseys, and they really, don't put their, quality in for these jerseys, we could, as fans, suffer for the next decade. Having said all this, though, it does seem like Fanatics is really concerned about being the best company they can be. I'm not going to judge them more so on the shirts, which are like 15-20 bucks. I would imagine they're going to put more and more attention into the details, especially now that they're the sole creator of these jerseys going forward. They don't have to work against any companies like Adidas or anything like that, but I will say this is a thing that could backfire pretty quick for the NHL. And I do think that if things go wrong, they could continue to go wrong because, as I said earlier in the video, Fanatics basically is going to get more and more reins to try to play around with some of this stuff in the coming years. Yes, they are going to try to adhere to a lot of stuff that Adidas did, especially early on, but by 2026 until 2034, they're going to have free reins, it seems like. So this is where they get to step up and show what kind of company they can be. Again, a company that I think has a lot of pros, but marketably or noticeably, I think a lot of people will focus on the cons. And especially now with their jerseys being $175, no other options besides those jerseys, you're really in a spot where they have to succeed or the NHL will suffer. But anyway, what do you think about this news? Do you think this is a bad thing that Fanatics is taking over? Do you think it's a bad thing that they're going to be in cahoots, I guess you could say, with the NHL until the mid-2030s? Let me know your thoughts down below. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you can go love hockey, alright. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.